Have you ever had a thought that made absolutely no sense, but somehow felt completely normal? Maybe you imagined shouting in a silent room, wondered what would happen if you suddenly dropped your phone from a balcony, or questioned whether everyone else secretly has thoughts just as strange as yours. They appear out of nowhere, disappear just as quickly, and leave you wondering what just happened. As it turns out, many of these experiences aren't random at all. Psychologists have been studying them for years, and some even have names. Here are some of the strangest thoughts your brain can produce and why they happen. The call of the void. You're standing on the edge of a cliff, looking over a balcony or waiting for a train. Then, for the briefest moment, a strange thought appears. What if I jumped? It can be deeply unsettling because you don't actually want to jump. In fact, the thought usually scares you precisely because it's the opposite of what you want. This experience is often called the call of the void, or l'appel du vide. Despite how alarming it feels, researchers believe it isn't a hidden desire for self-harm. One explanation is that your brain is rapidly checking for danger. It notices the edge, instantly imagines the worst possible outcome, and immediately reminds you to stay away. Ironically, the disturbing thought may actually be evidence that your survival instincts are working exactly as intended. The spotlight effect. You accidentally pronounce a word wrong during a meeting. For the rest of the day, you're convinced everyone noticed. Hours later, you're still replaying the moment in your head. The reality is that most people probably forgot about it within seconds. Psychologists call this the spotlight effect, our tendency to greatly overestimate how much other people notice our mistakes. The reason is simple. You're present for every second of your own life, so your mistakes feel enormous. Everyone else is busy thinking about themselves. Oddly enough, the embarrassing moments you remember most vividly often exist only in your own mind. Intrusive thoughts. You're holding a fragile glass. Suddenly your brain whispers, "Throw it." Or you're sitting in complete silence when you imagine yelling for no reason. These unwanted mental images are known as intrusive thoughts. Almost everyone experiences them. The important part is that having a thought is not the same as wanting to act on it. In fact, the more a thought conflicts with your values, the more shocking it feels. Your brain constantly generates possibilities, even terrible ones. Most disappear before you even notice them. Sometimes you simply become aware of one. Frequency illusion. You learn a new word today. Tomorrow it's everywhere. You notice it in conversations, advertisements, books, and videos. Did the world suddenly start using that word more? Probably not. This is the frequency illusion, sometimes called the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon. Once your brain marks something as important, it begins searching for it automatically. The information was always there. You just weren't looking. Choice overload. You open a streaming service intending to watch something for 20 minutes. 40 minutes later, you're still scrolling. Hundreds of options surround you, yet choosing somehow feels impossible. This is known as choice overload. While having options sounds freeing, too many possibilities increase the fear of making the wrong decision. Every option you reject becomes another life you didn't choose. Sometimes fewer choices actually make us happier. The false consensus effect. Have you ever assumed everyone else agreed with you? Maybe you believed your favorite movie was universally loved, or that everyone hated a particular food. Then someone disagreed completely. This tendency is called the false consensus effect. Because we spend so much time around people similar to ourselves, our opinions start feeling normal, even universal. Our own experience quietly becomes our estimate of everyone else's. The world is often far more diverse than it appears from inside our own perspective. Earworms. You hear 10 seconds of a song. Hours later, it's still playing in your head. No music, no headphones. Just the same chorus repeating endlessly. These are called earworms. Scientists believe the brain dislikes unfinished patterns. When a melody is interrupted before it feels complete, your mind keeps replaying it almost as if it's trying to finish the puzzle. Sometimes the best way to stop an earworm is surprisingly simple. Listen to the entire song. The illusion of transparency. Your heart is racing before giving a presentation. You're certain everyone can tell you're nervous, but afterwards someone says, "You looked completely calm." This is the illusion of transparency. We assume our emotions are far more visible than they actually are. Because we feel them so intensely ourselves, we expect everyone else to notice them too. Most people don't. They're usually worrying about how they appear instead. Choice supportive memory. Think about an expensive purchase you made years ago. Over time, you probably remember it as being a better decision than it actually was. Psychologists call this choice supportive memory. After making an important decision, the brain slowly edits memories to reduce regret. Positive details become easier to remember. Negative details quietly fade into the background. Memory isn't simply stored, it's constantly being rewritten. The end of history illusion. Try remembering who you were 10 years ago. You've probably changed quite a bit. Different interests, different opinions, different goals. Now imagine yourself 10 years from now. Most people assume they'll stay roughly the same. This is called the end of history illusion. We recognize how much we've changed in the past while consistently underestimating how much we'll change in the future. The person you'll become is almost certainly someone today's version of you can't fully imagine. The strange thing about the human mind isn't that it occasionally produces bizarre thoughts. It's that those thoughts often have understandable explanations. What feels deeply personal is frequently something millions of people experience without ever talking about. Your brain is constantly predicting, filtering, protecting, simplifying, and reorganizing reality. Most of the time, it does this so smoothly that you never notice. Sometimes, though, you catch a glimpse behind the curtain. And for a moment, the ordinary becomes fascinating. If you enjoyed this video, leave a thumbs up. But if you really enjoyed it, consider subscribing for more explorations into the strange and surprisingly relatable world of psychology. And if there's a weird thought or mental phenomenon you've experienced that we didn't cover today, let us know in the comments. It might be the next mystery we explore.